Hello and welcome to the State of the Fandom. I am your democratically elected president for life, Neil Fox.
And I am the Prime Minister of the Furry Fandom. Don't tread on me.
No. And see, you don't tread on him. And for me, it's, please tread on me, Daddy. So we were just talking about some very interesting statistics about, actually, let me pause for one moment, because when people hear the phrase "very interesting statistics," let me clarify, because I understand that when most people hear the phrase "very interesting statistics," their brain just shuts off. Statistics. Oh God. So I, fortunately for our viewers or for our listeners, fortunately I have a lot of experience in how to break down statistics in a simple and concrete way. Yes. So I will do my best to make the statistics interesting. So please don't turn off the podcast yet, because the statistics that I'm talking about are a gun statistic. So this is a very interesting topic.
It is very interesting.
Now, you were just asking me a question, my love. What is the question?
So the question in the eternal debate is, do we responsibly arm the teachers in the school if they want to learn how to use a firearm?
Mm-hmm.
Or do we keep the firearms out of the school? Which doesn't seem to be working very well, because we've had 5 school mass shootings in the last month.
Right.
And I think a camp got shot up as well, and a hospital as well. A hospital also got shot up, and...
Well, because I haven't been following... I've been focused a lot...
Yes.
Unsurprisingly, I've been focused on trying to catch an animal rapist. Kiro, call me. But anyway...
And I've been keeping up with the news.
You've been keeping up with it. So what happened? There was like 5 mass shootings?
Yeah. There were a bunch of mass shootings at schools.
That's terrible. I heard about them, like, I heard something, like, on Reddit or whatever. There was, like, an article that was like, oh, my God, all these mass shootings. But I just skimmed past it. So what exactly happened?
At the schools...
Like, do you remember any specific incidents? Or, like, do you just have, like, just general...
General knowledge at the moment.
Got it. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, I don't have any super specific information.
Well, let's find out. So are you talking about the last month? Are you talking about the last 6 months?
Last month or two.
Okay. Last month of mass shootings. Because I'm sure someone has compiled the statistics for us.
I hope so.
Mass shootings in 2022 Gun Violence Archive.
Yeah.
Mass shootings across the U.S. leave dozens killed or wounded this weekend. Okay? So this is from NPR, and this is from June 5th.
Yeah.
So that would have been about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go with NPR, because I assume gunviolence.org is a good source, but I've never heard of them. I know NPR is a good source.
Let's go with NPR.
Let's go with NPR.
Just because that's where I know I heard the information.
Okay. Oh, this is going to be really fun. Can I do some... Can I... Okay.
Like I said.
Can I read it to you in my NPR voice?
Go for it.
Okay. So friends, I love NPR.
Me too.
I love NPR. I've probably spent 1,000 hours listening to NPR. Now, I also love to make fun of NPR, because there are some things that are easily mockable about NPR.
Oh, God, yeah.
Here's the voice that I like to do for NPR. Here we go. Hello, and welcome to Fresh Air. I'm Dominic Minahan, filling in for Ezra Glass. And today we're discussing the following NPR story. Mass shootings across the U.S. leave dozens killed or wounded this weekend. A string of shootings left at least 15 people dead and more than 60 others wounded in 8 states this weekend. A spasm of gun violence that came as the nation continues mourning the lives lost in mass shootings last month in Buffalo, New York, and Uvalde, Texas. Kim Jordan is joining me from the NPR partner station in Buffalo, New York. Go right ahead.
Thanks so much. So, in Pennsylvania, police say multiple shooters fired into a crowd late Saturday night on South Street, a famous Pennsylvania drag known for its nightlife, character, and vibrancy. Authorities said 3 people were killed by the gunfire and at least 11 others were wounded. All right, this has been Fresh Air. Back to you.
How was that?
God.
Was that too accurate?
That's awesome.
I love NPR, and I say this with love. They are so easy to make fun of.
Oh.
It's so easy to make fun of them.
They don't care. That's the thing.
No. I'm for
That's awesome.
because people have in the past, especially on Twitter.
Yep.
Twitter is just such a wonderful pile of dog shit. But people on Twitter have interpreted my sarcasm as me saying, "Oh, that's a bad thing."
Oh, yeah.
So I'm being clear that when I make fun of NPR, it's not because I hate NPR. It's because I love it so much that I've listened to it so much that I can easily parody it. So
yeah.
I'm just being clear for the viewers.
Yes, viewers. We actually adore NPR, and I adore Coast to Coast AM.
Well, you will have to introduce me to Coast AM, and here's what we'll do. We will make a podcast, probably a series. We could probably make a series of podcasts where you give me the rundown about Coast to Coast, because I literally the only thing that I know about Coast to Coast AM is what you've told me.
Okay.
So anyway, let's get back to the story. So
yes,
I know that you were probably laughing at my funny accent more than you were listening to what it said. So let me summarize it for you.
I heard what you said. It was awesome.
I know, but we talked about it about 2 minutes ago, my love. I'm going to summarize it again for your benefit and for the benefit of the viewers, so that we can talk about the facts instead of my funny voice. Okay? All right. So the title of the story is "Mass Shootings Across the U.S. Leave Dozens Killed or Wounded This Weekend." Now, this is published June 5th, so this was 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So this was about around 14 days ago as we record.
Yeah.
Let's see, 21 minus 5 would be 16 days ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a string of shootings left at least 15 people dead and 60 wounded in 8 states this weekend. Okay? In Pennsylvania, multiple shooters fired into a crowd in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh, I know about South Street in Philadelphia. I've been there.
Oh.
It's okay. If it's the same place that I'm thinking of, which it should be, if we're talking about the gay part of Philadelphia. Oh, so one of the reasons that I love Philadelphia is because they have a very large LGBT-friendly part of the city.
Yes.
It's the city of love, after all.
Oh.
And it's called the Gayborhood. And there's okay.
Yeah.
There's about 10 different shops all right next to each other.
Yeah.
That are, gay bars, bookstores, lingerie, all types of different stuff, and all of the employees are gay. It is wonderful. So you go in, it's, "Hey, welcome to the Gayborhood. Can I get you a martini?" I know that it is not something that you enjoy, but I find it to be wonderful. It is so delightful to go into a restaurant and just everyone is gay. It's like if the way that I like to explain it is the way that I felt as a child was I felt like an octopus in a world of humans. And I had never met another octopus because I was from an extremely conservative religious family. And so we didn't even talk about gay. I didn't even know what gay was until I read about it in the Bible. That's how I learned what gay was reading Deuteronomy. That's how sheltered I was.
Oh, okay.
So
my own experiences with the gay and family was we probably talked about it. I didn't really pay attention because ADHD and had other things on my mind.
You had better things to do than
talk about gay
stuff?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, if you didn't know at the time that you were bisexual, then why would you care? Like, oh, I like girls. Okay, whatever. Oh, there's people who are gay. Whatever. Like,
I legitimately didn't know what gay was until I was like 20-something.
Really? Oh,
Just
wow.
because
I learned about it from Bible study in like, I don't remember. I think I was like 12 or something. So you learned about it later than I did. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because
well,
my original thought was girls are weird and nothing but trouble, and all they do is cause drama. And I want to avoid.
And my opinion on girls has not changed. Well, my opinion on girls is exactly. No, I'm just joking.
Like I said, so when I was growing up, my opinion of have a girlfriend, have this, have that.
Yes, a girlfriend.
Quite frankly, I had better things to do. Oh, and I saved a fuck ton of money by not having a girlfriend. I was and still am basically just a cool loner. I love it.
I like how you're saying this to your future husband. I love being a loner. But see, the best part of being a loner is being a loner with you.
It is. I'm a lone wolf that found a pact.
Yes.
That's what I've been looking for.
That's great. Well, we have been recording for about 11 minutes, so it is time for our first sponsor.
Our first sponsor of the day is...
Our first sponsor of the day is Cash App.
Oh, yes, Cash App.
Yes. Have you used Cash App?
I have not yet.
Oh, I should actually get it installed for you. So, or I can install it on your phone for you if you want.
Yeah.
Because if you sign up with our reward link,
yeah,
which I'll post in the description of the episode if I don't forget it, but whatever. If you sign up with our reward link, you get automatically $5 just for signing up.
Oh, okay.
You don't even have to put money into the account. They will put money into the account for you.
Okay.
So it's literally you sit down, you make an account for like 5 minutes, and they give you $5. That's a pretty good return on your time.
It is.
So anyway, Cash App is an app that you can use to pay people. You know, a lot of our viewers are furries, so PayPal is an app that a lot of furries have used, right?
Yes.
Most furries have PayPal. Now, Elon Musk, I love you, buddy, but the fees on PayPal are too damn high. The fees on PayPal too damn high.
Doesn't Google own PayPal now?
No, my love, it is owned by eBay.
Oh, okay.
eBay and Google are two separate companies. We were just talking about this, that he is a puppy, and Puppy thinks that all tech companies are Google. It's very funny.
Well, I just assume Google has managed to buy just about everything at this point and runs it through a shell corporation.
See, the thing is that if you just had a list of 100 tech companies with more than $10 million in revenue, and you just picked a name at random, about half the time you would be right.
That's the thing.
So let's say that somebody says, oh, tech company X. There's something around a 50% chance that it's owned by Google. But anyway, just to finish our sponsor read, we have to ADHD a little bit less when we're doing sponsor reads, my love.
Yeah.
So because they want us to actually finish the pitch to the viewers.
Got it.
So we will get back to this topic after we tell them that it's cashapp.com, and make sure to use the link that we're going to post in the episode description. So what is the link? Cashapp.com. Cash App.
Pride?
Darling, what is the link? It's cashapp.com.
Yep, cashapp.com.
So the link is?
Cashapp.com.
There we go, cashapp.com. All right, anyway, so what topic would you like to do after we have finished giving a shout out to our lovely sponsor, Cash App?
Let's tackle the topic of, is it a good idea to put firearms in the schools
Oh, yes.
Is it a bad idea to put firearms in the schools? It's the one thing we haven't actually done to any serious degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at this point, okay. So,
I'm more than happy to explain my perspective on this topic, but I want to hear your perspective first.
So, I have actually been into a modern middle school in the last 10 years, and the amount of security that they put into things is basically a prison.
Yeah, and I believe it.
They have turned middle school into prisons.
Well, and when you say that, what do you mean? I assume like metal detectors.
Metal detectors, microphones,
Jesus.
security cameras fucking everywhere,
Yep.
key card security doors,
Mm-hmm.
specialized hallways that makes it harder for shooters to be able to actually shoot people.
Jesus, that's terrible.
Oh, and millions of dollars worth of artwork as well.
What? Millions of dollars of artwork? What do you mean?
Federal law dictates all new schools need X dollar amount of artwork to the tune of
That's weird. I
to the
didn't know
tune
that.
of a marginal percentage of the construction cost.
That's a very strange law. I had not heard about that at all. I will have to do some research on that. But let's get back to the topic at hand.
It's one of the weirder things that I have picked up in the construction fields. It's one of the things I learned at.
Yes, but before we get off on that topic, because that is a very interesting topic, we could make a whole podcast about that.
Yes.
So, anyway, the question is it a good idea to arm teachers, or is it a bad idea to arm teachers? So, your perspective is?
My perspective is done well, thought through, properly trained, properly psych-evaled,
Okay.
and just multiple trainings. And if the teachers want it, give them the option if all the criteria has been met.
Okay. So, that is your perspective,
Yep.
and you have every right to have it. But I am now going to critique what you just said. Now, I have been explaining to my wonderful, wonderful future husband
Yes.
that when I give you a critique of an idea, I am not critiquing you as a person. I am not saying anything about, like, oh, this has some type of effect of how I care about you. I care about you regardless of whether I disagree with you on an idea or not.
Okay.
Okay? So I have the opposite perspective of what you have.
Okay.
And let me explain why. So, number one, your argument is if the teachers want it, right?
Yes.
So, there have been many studies done, because why wouldn't you? It's not that difficult to get a bunch of, let's say 25 teachers in a room from various different states and ask them this question. Mm-hmm. That's a relatively easy study to do.
Yes.
And virtually 100% of teachers say no.
Okay, why do they say no?
Darling, have you met teachers? They're usually middle-aged women. Why would a middle-aged woman want a gun? Do you know any middle-aged women other than your mom? Your mom is a special case. But do you know any women over the age of 40 who own a gun?
Good point.
Keep in mind, let's just look up the statistics real quick, because I don't remember it off. I know I've read it before, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. So name a state that has a lot of gun violence in it. Texas?
California.
California? Okay. So we're going to look up average age. So we're going to say average California school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So let's find out what if you were going to take a random sample of 1,000 teachers,
Yep.
what would that person look like?
Yeah.
So we're not, are they generally speaking Caucasian, Hispanic, Black? Like what when we're talking about the average,
Yep.
it's not racist to say, oh, well, generally speaking, furries are white.
Yeah.
Like that's not a racist statement. That's just a fact.
Mm-hmm.
It's not racist to say that 9 out of 10 furries are white, because that's just the truth. it's but if I said that without context, oh yeah, furries are white, people would be like, you fucking racist. Well, hold on. I'm talking about statistics. I'm not talking about stereotypes.
Yes.
I'm talking about statistics. So that is
Okay.
what we're discussing here. Okay.
Yes.
So, average salary. Huh, I'm surprised that actually is not coming up. Let me do just average school teacher then. Average school teacher demographic, we'll say. Okay, here we go. High school teacher demographics and statistics. Okay?
Okay.
So this is the type of information that is important to know when you are thinking about this type of argument. So this is why I disagree with you. Now, it doesn't mean that you are a bad person. I'm just saying I have a different set of facts to inform my opinion, and these are the facts that inform my opinion. Okay? So here we go.
Okay.
High school teacher demographics and statistics in the United States. Okay? There are over 600,000 school teachers currently employed in the United States teaching in high schools. All right, 53% of all high school teachers are women. So, not as high of a percentage as I would have thought, but 53%. So, the average school teacher is a woman.
Yes.
That's pretty obvious. We all know that.
Okay.
So, woman. Average age is 42.
Okay.
So, remember when I said over 40?
Yep.
Okay? Most common ethnicity is white. So, white, over 40, woman. So again, I'm not being racist in just reporting on the statistics.
Okay.
I am simply stating the fact that according to this study, 76% of high school teachers are white.
Okay.
All right? Majority of high school teachers are located in New York and Illinois. Let's see. Average salary, $50,000. Wow. 11% of high school teachers are LGBT. That's interesting. So around 90%, or let's say 89% of people are not LGBT in that case. So we're going to say average person who is a high school teacher is from a major city, so not from rural America, from a major city. So they said the highest number of teachers, so the teachers' union, for example, would be based probably in either New York or Chicago. I don't know, so I haven't looked it up, but I can certainly find that information. So 1, woman. 2, over 40. 3, white. 4, from New York or Chicago. 5, straight. Does that sound like a typical gun owner to you?
No, it does not.
Okay. Let's find out what the typical demographic of a gun owner is in the United States.
Okay.
Okay? Because now we can compare the two. Okay? Demographics of U.S. gun ownership. Okay? Demographics of U.S. gun ownership. Oh, Pew Research Center. They're very reputable. All right. So, currently own a gun, 30%.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. Handgun is the most common. So, handgun owner. Much more common among men than women. Much more common among rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's totally fair. About 2/3 of current gun owners say there were guns in their household when they were growing up. Okay. 76% report that they first fired a gun before they were 18. Okay. Let's see.
Yep, sounds about right.
Yep. That tracks with the gun owners that I know.
Tracks with me.
Right. Let's see. Most gun owners cite multiple reasons for owning a gun. Let's see. Protection tops the list. Fair enough. Hunting is the second highest.
Yep.
Okay. So now let's start building the profile of our gun owner. Okay?
Yes.
So we have male, which is the opposite of a teacher, in our case, of our average teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, obviously, people are going to crucify me for using a male-female binary system, but when I'm talking about the average statistic,
Mm-hmm.
something like 95 or 98% of people are either male or female. So it is not homophobic for me to say the average person is either male or female. And so in that system, one of them is much more likely to own a gun, and one of them is much less likely to own a gun.
Okay.
So, average gun owner, male, own a handgun, from a rural area,
Yep.
care about protection with firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most common among men and whites. Fair enough. Average age is over the age of 50 or over the age of 65. Okay. White, college educated, from the southern United States, so
Yep.
not from New York or Chicago,
Okay.
and from a rural area.
Yes.
So now, I want you to take guns out of the equation for just about 30 seconds, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to describe two people to you, okay?
Yeah.
Now, this is not by any means representative of every teacher and every gun owner, okay? This is not necessarily a description of every person who owns a gun. Your mom owns guns, right?
Yes.
Right. So she would be an example, a very clear example of an outlier in the statistics. So, you know, when you have a graph of gun owners, your mom, who is an older white woman who owns a gun, that is an example of someone who is unusual based on these statistics. Okay? So it doesn't mean those people don't exist, but when we're talking about government policy,
Yep.
you have to, by law, take into account people's demographics as part of the decision. That's the law.
Yes.
There's many court cases to back that up. So, what demographics are we talking about here? Gun owner, male,
Yes.
white,
Yep.
over the age of 65,
Yep.
owned a gun before they were 18, or sorry, shot a gun before they were 18,
Yep.
cares about protection with firearms.
Yes.
Okay? Average teacher, and gun owner, generally from the South.
Yes.
Okay? Average teacher, female, 40,
Yep.
from New York or Chicago, which is about as far away demographically from the South as you can get.
Uh-huh.
Like if you were gonna pick a person out of Arkansas and pick a person out of Chicago, Illinois, those people are going to be basically as opposite as you can get.
Uh-huh.
Okay?
Yep.
So, from New York or Chicago, white, female, 40 years old, hating guns because she doesn't want to be part of a mass shooting. I guarantee you, if you asked 1,000 female teachers over the age of 40, do they want a gun in their hands in the classroom, 999 would say no. I guarantee you. I would be more than happy to conduct a study on my page to prove this to you.
So, what's the answer that we want? Well, what's the way forward to keep children safe? Because we care about the children, correct?
So, this is called changing the goalpost, my love. So we're not going to change the goalpost. We're going to answer the original question.
Yes.
The original question is not, what should we do to protect children? The original question was,
The original question is,
should we arm teachers?
Should we arm teachers?
And in
not?
my opinion, based on the demographics that I just described to you, the answer is a very clear no. If we're talking about a protection measure,
okay.
So again, guns are a very charged political topic, a very charged emotional topic. Mm-hmm. So let's take guns out of the equation for just a moment, okay? So we're talking about people who own cars and people who ride bikes. Okay?
Yeah.
We're not talking about gun owners. We're talking about people who ride cars and people who ride bikes. Okay?
Okay.
Generally speaking, the average bike user is going to be different from the average car user, right?
Yes.
So a bike user is going to be more athletic, generally, because if you're not athletic, then you have to use a car.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to generally be younger, because if somebody is 65 and has bad arthritis, they can't ride a bike safely.
Mm-hmm.
So a car owner is going to be older, more wealthy, probably more often from a rural area because of how difficult it is to get around in those areas.
Yeah.
And so a bike owner is going to generally be younger, generally probably has less money, just because most people that I know who ride their bike every day have a low-paying job.
Yeah.
I don't have statistics to back that up, but that's like every single person that I know who rides a bike. And they generally would be younger, just simply for the fact that you cannot ride your bike an hour to work every day if you're 65. Like, the vast majority of 65-year-olds, if you had, again, think about what I just said. If you had 1,000 65-year-olds, probably 999 of them could not ride a bike an hour to work.
Probably not, no.
So, let us sum up my personal opinion. And again, this is only my opinion, but my opinion is based on the evidence, not based on how I feel about guns. My opinion is based on the evidence. This is my opinion on this topic. I say, ask the teachers.
Yes.
So, if I encourage anyone to go to a teachers union in their state, any state. You could be in the most red state in the country. You could be in Alabama. You could be in Mississippi. I guarantee you that if you went to the teachers union and you said, you sent out a letter to every teacher in the teachers union, and you said, please check yes if you would like a gun. Please check. It could be free. Please check yes if you would like us to give you a free gun.
Yeah.
Please check no if you do not want us to give you a free gun.
Okay.
I guarantee you that it would be 1 in 1,000 that would say yes. I would happily bet $1 million on that fact.
Okay. 1 in 1,000 still protects children.
I disagree with you, my love, and let me tell you why. So, when we are talking about something that is a security risk, there are many different factors that have to be considered.
Yes.
One of them is edge cases. Now, do you know what edge cases means?
Yes.
Okay? So, just in case there's an audience member out there that doesn't know what it means. So, if everyone has seen a bell curve, I assume. You've seen a bell curve.
Yes.
If you don't know what a bell curve is, look up a picture on Google so that you're looking at one while I tell you. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, a bell curve has around 66% of the information within what's called one standard deviation from the center. So that's the big part in the middle. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
2 standard deviations is 95%. 3 standard deviations would account for about 99% of the data.
Yes.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, I can make a whole podcast explaining standard deviation and all of that. I love economics and statistics. I love it so much, I read about it in my free time. That's how much I love it.
Good boy.
But most people don't care about economics and statistics at all. That's why I'm simplifying it to 66% 95%,
Yep.
and 99%.
Wiggle.
Okay?
Yes.
So we have 1 standard deviation, 66%, 2 standard deviations, 95%, 3 standard deviations, 99%. So that is, like I said, I'm saying this for any viewer who has no knowledge of statistics.
Mm-hmm.
When I say 1 standard deviation, I mean 66%. When I say 2 standard deviations, I mean 95%. When I say 3 standard deviations, I mean 99%. So anyway, to get back to the point,
Yep.
an edge case
Yep.
is something that is on the edge of the bell curve.
Yes.
So something on that very tiny, tiny tail that goes way, 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 way out on the graph. So
Yes.
most I encourage you to look up a bell curve that's actually a really wide graph, because it's very interesting. If you look at a bell curve chart, most people only look at a bell curve chart that has, around the same proportions as a YouTube video, 16 by 9. But that
Okay.
is not the entire bell curve.
I see.
So if you have a set of data, so let's say you have a set of population data,
Yes.
you're going to have what are called outliers or
Yes.
edge cases.
Yes.
Now, I hope to God, and I would hope that the most radically pro-gun person in America would agree with me, that mass shootings will always and forever be edge cases.
Yes, they are.
Now, let me explain.
I agree with you on that.
I'm glad that we agree, because this is an important point.
Yes.
Okay? People, and I don't just mean you, I mean everyone, because this is a very common misconception. People put too much emphasis on edge cases
Yes.
when they are considering security.
Yes.
Okay? So, for example, the statistics show that the TSA has prevented 0 deaths.
Yes, they have. It's pretty pitiful.
So they spend $18 billion a year
Yeah.
to prevent 0 deaths. That's a pretty terrible return on investment.
Return on investment at all.
Yes, you're right.
Tax write-off.
It's not a tax write-off. It's a government agency, my love.
A lot of hyperbole there.
So let me help you with this, my love.
Hun, sorry. That little joke I made was a direct dig at the action movies of the 70s and 80s,
Oh,
where they were made
yeah.
in like foreign countries, and they were in all of the video game movies
So
were
funny.
intentionally terrible for tax write-offs.
The Producers was real. Someone watched The Producers and said, "That's a great idea." Oh, wow. I love financial fraud. Somebody's going to
wasn't-
clip that out of context.
It wasn't financial fraud either, because
Oh.
the countries that allowed it to happen,
Oh, it wasn't illegal in those countries.
it was incentivized.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It was incentivized
Wow.
to have movies made in these other countries because they wanted to compete with Hollywood.
So let's pause for one moment, my love.
Yep.
Because I have not finished my argument.
Okay.
May I finish my argument?
Yes.
Okay? So this is an important thing, so I want to make sure that we don't get distracted from the point that you asked me about 39 minutes ago.
Yes.
Okay? So the question you asked me is,
Yeah.
should we arm teachers? And here is the conclusion of my argument. So give me about 2 minutes
Okay.
to speak
Got it.
without interruption so that I can tell you the conclusion of my
Floors are
argument.
yours.
Okay?
Floor is all yours.
All right? So once I'm done, you can respond in whatever way that you want. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, in my opinion, we should not arm teachers because, one, only around 1 in 1,000 teachers is interested. Now, 1 in 1,000 teachers being armed what is the most likely outcome from that situation? So let's assume for the sake of argument that every school has 1,000 teachers. There's one armed teacher in every school. That is not the case, but just to make the numbers simpler, let's just estimate that is the case. Okay? So we're estimating that, there's a faculty of 1,000 teachers, and maybe one is just a guy and he just really likes guns, and he's like, yeah, I've been trained. Let's assume for the sake of argument that this is you as that person, okay? Mm-hmm. We're imagining Trey Playstead as the high school teacher in the school that says, hey, I've been properly trained.
Yes.
I, Trey Playstead, have gun safety as my top priority. Which you obviously would.
Yes.
So we are assuming in this hypothetical scenario that there are 1,000 teachers, and one of them is armed.
Yep.
And that person is the most safe that they could possibly be.
Yes.
Okay? You don't have any history of severe mental illness.
Nope.
I have severe mental illness issues. I have been in the hospital for panic attack. Like that you do not want me anywhere near a gun.
Right.
Not just because of my brittle bones, but because I have mental illness. Like, that is just a fact. You do not want me anywhere near a gun. But we are assuming that this person is stable, has the world's best gun safety training.
Yep.
And let's even throw a bone, okay? We are going to give this person the best school in the world, okay? We're going to give them a school that has a 0% chance of having a mass shooting. We're going to give them a school that has a 0% chance of a mass shooting, okay?
Yep.
So, I would hope that even the most pro-gun person would say, that seems safe, right? You've got somebody that doesn't have mental illness, has been trained in gun safety, and there's a 0% chance of a mass shooting in this hypothetical school, and so that means that there's no chance of friendly fire. Okay?
Yep.
So, in a real school, there would be a chance of friendly fire, of a teacher accidentally shooting a student while trying to protect them. That would be the case in the real world. We are not in the real world right now. We are in a hypothetical school where there is a 0% chance of a mass shooting. Okay?
Yes.
Now, to conclude my argument, remember what I said about edge cases. So
yes.
we're talking about the very, very tip of the bell curve. When you're looking at a graph of a bell curve, that's the very end. You're not talking about a 99% chance. You're talking about like 6 or 7 or 8 standard deviations away from the center of the graph. You're talking about a 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000 chance that some type of big security issue comes up.
Yes.
Okay? Now, it is extremely, painfully, obviously clear, and I could literally talk about this for 10 hours of why this is the case, okay?
Okay.
I understand that when you hear what I'm about to say, you're immediately going to disagree with it. But I am telling you, I am an expert in statistics, and I know that this is true. Okay? There is a much, 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 much higher chance of a gun accident in a school than someone's life being saved with a gun.
Yes.
So, for example, now this is not, I'm not saying this would be a typical case. I'm just saying, like, this is an example of how things could go wrong in our perfect school, okay? So, Trey Playstead, the world's hypothetical most safe gun expert, is a gun holder in a school with a 0% chance of mass shootings in our hypothetical scenario. There might be a 1 in 1,000 chance, or maybe a 1 in 10,000 chance, that some type of gun accident would occur. So, for example, here's a hypothetical. You're the teacher in front of 30 students. You're just teaching your class as you normally would. One of the football players, who is bigger and stronger than you, decides to stand up, walk to the front of the class, and take your gun. And start a mass shooting! And that is the conclusion of my argument, my love. And that is why we shouldn't arm teachers.
Okay. So what's stopping that football player from bringing a firearm into the school and just shoot people anyway?
Nothing.
Okay. So what do we do? Nothing?
That's a great question. And I would be more than happy to spend another 45 minutes answering that question. But that is not the question that you asked. The question was, should we arm teachers? And in my opinion, as a statistics expert,
Okay.
a person who was paid $350 an hour to analyze statistics for businesses, okay? I am an expert.
Yes.
And I emphasize that for the viewers. Like, I would hope that someone listening to this would say, yeah, that guy seems pretty smart with statistics. But, like, I was paid $350 an hour to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I am an expert. In my opinion,
Yes.
as an expert with statistics, it is not okay to give someone a gun to save a child in a 1 in 100,000 chance, while there's a 1 in 10,000 chance that a student takes the gun and starts shooting other students.
Okay.
That is not an acceptable level of risk, in my opinion.
Agreed. So, how would we be what is the best way of protecting the students?
And that will be the subject of our next episode.
Because I had already come to that conclusion.
Not as of 47 minutes ago, my love. Your opinion was the opposite of my opinion 47 minutes ago, was it not?
Yes. Now, the other thing is, okay, so he starts a mass shooting. Say he takes a Glock. There's 9 rounds in it.
Mm-hmm.
Then the security alarm goes off. Now he's trapped in a room. He's trapped in a cage.
Okay.
Okay. So he shot 9 people. And then he goes to jail for the rest of his life. Because he's in a cage.
Okay, let me stop you right there, my love, because we need to finish up the episode.
Yeah.
So, this is an example, and again, I am not criticizing you as a person. I am pointing out how easy it is to make this mistake, okay? This is probably, because I guarantee you there's 17,000 people yelling at me in my DMs as soon as I post this episode.
That's fine.
That's fine.
We're talking about controversial topics.
We are talking about controversial topics that other people don't cover.
Exactly.
So-
I'm playing... if we pause that for a second.
No, my darling. We need to outro the episode in about 60 seconds. So
Let's do that.
give me one moment to finish my argument, and
Yeah.
then we will outro the episode, and then we can do whatever you want to talk about, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, what you just did a moment ago is what's called cherry picking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And what cherry picking means in statistics, I'm not talking about the general use of the term, I'm talking about statistically specifically.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask a statistician, what does cherry picking mean? It's picking out one example from the statistics and going, well, what if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that, and what if this, and what if that? And a statistician like myself would say, that is not important to the argument because we are not talking about a 1 in 100,000 chance. We are talking about what happens statistically on a daily basis in the school.
Yes.
So I would be happy to answer your question in a future episode. But we have agreed that the next podcast will be about how do we protect kids.
Yes.
The answer to the question, well, what if the student takes the gun and starts shooting other students, and then he's in a cage, and then he goes to jail for the rest of his life, those are two different questions with two different answers. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
So, bringing up a separate question, even if the question is related to the topic, bringing up a separate question that is related to an anecdote is the very definition of cherry picking in statistics. So, I know you have a lot to say about this topic once we turn off the episode, and I'm more than happy to listen to you, my love, but it's time to outro because we've been talking. We can only record on Anchor for 1 hour at a time.
Yep.
So, it's time to outro the episode. So, I have been Neil Fox, the president for life of the Furry Fandom.
This has been the Don't Tread on Me War Dog.
Of the Furry Fandom.
Of the Furry Fandom.
Link the Labrador.
Link the Labrador. Yes.
And thank you again to Cash App for sponsoring the episode.
Yes, thank you.
And we will see you in the next one.